All right, a light Friday for the Texans, but business is about to pick up. It is SNL, Landry Locker, Cody Stutes with you. Shout out to everyone who joins us Monday through Friday, 4 o'clock, locker room stream tonight at 10:30. And we got some stuff to get into for sure. The big news, we'll just start off. We won't bury the lead. The pads will be on Monday. So there will be pads on Monday. Those of you going out tomorrow, I don't anticipate a light practice. That was today. It'll be ramped up a little bit because there'll be an off day on Sunday. But if you were hoping to see the pads on Saturday, sorry, folks, that is going to be a Monday thing. That will be when they put the pads on. So that's the news for you, for those of you that may want to know such a thing.
Now, tomorrow's not going to be some just like, patty cake day. I mean, they're at least going to have shells, helmets on, and it'll be the longest practice they've had to that since. But Monday, pads day, that's going to be a fun one.
So today, they really just kind of, I don't want to say half-assed, but it was a very slow practice. Of note, Damon Arnett, I guess he got hydrated. According to Aaron Wilson, he got some IVs, and Damon Arnett was on the practice field, so he's back. He's no longer dehydrated or whatever the word was. So he returned. No Christian Harris. He's still absent. And then really no noticeable absences outside of that.
No changes to the PUP list. No changes on the non-football injury list. So still no Dameon Pierce. Still no Joe Mixon. Did see both of them in a Tank Dell Instagram. It's Joe Mixon's birthday. They were in the rehab room. So everybody's getting the rehab in, but not on the field just yet for for Pierce or Mixon. Dell's not going to be on the field anytime soon. But nothing to change there in the status of those guys. And yeah, as you mentioned, Landry, I mean, it wasn't a half-ass day, but they didn't get even close to 50% speed out there. I mean, it was walkthrough. Nobody had their helmets. And it was really what it was explained to us was this counts as a practice day, but it's really not a practice day because you're not allowed to practice, I guess, more than 3 days in a row. So you just do a walkthrough day to kind of take it down technically. I don't know. They could do whatever they want. The NFLPA is falling apart. They can practice them as hard as they want these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing hardcore from today. There's still stuff that's important that we picked up on, but there's nothing hardcore today like you've had the past couple of days or you will the next few days.
No, and I think tomorrow is going to be one of the better practices, so it will be good, and then we'll see what happens on Monday with the pads. I anticipate that there will be a basic, more clear assessment of the offensive line and the defensive line. I want to touch on a couple of things right off the top. There was talk and there was speculation beginning yesterday. And you saw it from a lot of Texans fans. If you just opened up Twitter, the speculation about Christian Wilkins once he got released from the Raiders. I was actually quite surprised by how many people were entertaining this possibility. Christian Harris has a better chance of playing 99% of the snaps than Christian Wilkins does playing one snap this year. That's kind of how I look at this. I do not think that Christian Wilkins is going to play. Pete Carroll said as much today. The rehab was not taken serious. They recommended surgery. I talked to someone out there that covers the Raiders. He said that he doesn't think he plays this year. So the Christian Wilkins conversation is, there's a lot of times where we kind of shoot for the stars when it comes to hypotheticals, and a lot of times it can be humored. I don't even think this is worth being humored. Not this year, maybe at the start of next year, but I don't know what the whole deal is with Christian Wilkins. He's going to be filing the grievance. He's going to be figuring some stuff out. I just don't think he plays this year.
No, I mean, the doctors for the Raiders wanted him to have surgery to fix his foot, and he's like, nah, I'm good. Okay, well, you're not good because you weren't out there. You weren't practicing. I'm if he could get healthy or he was healthy, the Raiders would have kept him. The fact that they don't believe he's going to be healthy and he didn't do the treatment plan, that's the reason he got released. And it's his grievance is about his money. It's not about playing time or getting back on the field. It's about the money he feels like he's owed. So this guy's not playing football this year. There might be some scrubby team that's going to like sign him for a 2-year deal and let him just rehab and then have him next year. But I mean, this is a guy that he had all the red flags of a get paid and suck guy when he was a free agent a year ago. And boom, turns out he got paid and he stunk. He played 5 games for $50 million, wouldn't get the surgery that the team told him to get, claimed he knew better, and then they had to get rid of him because he was such a malcontent there. I want him nowhere near the Houston Texans.
Yeah, even like as a tire kick, I just don't know about that. I don't know what you benefit from bringing him in right now. And I just think with the vibe they got, I don't know if it's going to pay off, but with the vibe they got, bringing in someone like that who's not even going to be a contributor, I don't think there's any benefit to it. There's no, they got enough going on. I think you can kind of sacrifice the vibe if the guy's going to actually be on the field, but at this point, I would say it's pointless. So
yeah, he's not going to play football in 2025. So what are we talking about?
Yeah, no, thank you. And I think people should know better online. Wags on the super chat. Shout out to you, my friend.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
Happy Friday, gents, to the best Texan stream. Thank you very much. HDAV Traveler rolling on 2 wheels.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
How you doing, my friend? Mi amigo. So there you go. That's really the practice. We did see Kaimi Fairbairn today, and it was indoors, so you know he was perfect. Kaimi Fairbairn, perfect. They moved practice inside. Fairbairn, perfect, all the way back to 53. So you knew it. Nobody was happier than Kaimi Fairbairn, although he might like the heat. He's got that type of blood, but he likes being inside. So Fairbairn was perfect today with the field goal. I will say, like as far as like the special teams, we still really haven't gotten a grasp of what this the kickoff is going to look like. Maybe we get a little bit more of that tomorrow or when the pads are on. I would imagine we get that, but we haven't really gotten much of a taste of what the kickoff is going to be and how they're going to approach it.
It's been very like segmented where like they would do the returners in the back part of the field, and then the middle of the field they had guys, lined up very close to each other doing like tackling or hand position stuff, but they haven't done like a full, here's the kickoff, here's the coverage team, here's the return team. They haven't done that yet. So I would think they may do that tomorrow and certainly once the pads get on. So I think we're pretty close on that one. There was one thing that I wanted to note from Kaimi's kicking session that I thought is slightly notable when it comes to the offensive line. So the field goal protection unit had 2 different units that went out there with the long snapper. The first field goal protection unit was Ursery, Howard, Ed Ingram, Brinkman's the long snapper, and then Tomlinson, Robinson, and Fisher. So Ingram in the first group of protection for field goal, that's typically where you would use a depth offensive lineman. Like you have to put one of those guys out there. So I wonder if Ingram's starting here as that 6th, 7th, 8th offensive lineman as we really try to find out about this offensive line.
I think this is brilliant by Javier. Sometimes when you're going to play in bad weather, you like put the footballs in like a bucket of water. And when you're going to a loud place, you crank up the music. When they're indoors, they need to put like the AC at like 5. Like they need to put it at like max, super max blast and just make Kaimi Fairbairn kick in like cold weather. I think this is a brilliant idea by Javier.
I'm telling you, every time he goes to kick, he should have to run out from the little cold room they have out there that cools everybody down on the field. He should have to run out from that.
There was a little John Weeks mentioned by Frank Ross. He was asked about John Weeks a couple times, had some pretty nice things to say about our buddy John Weeks. I don't think that I kind of sense that they don't think it's like the biggest deal. He did say it was perfect with the Weeks, but I don't feel that they think it's the biggest deal.
No, I mean, the Frank Ross basically said, hey, bunch of things worked that it didn't work out for both sides. Nick Caserio kind of, explained, he left in free agency. Yeah, you didn't bring him back. That's why he left. But it doesn't feel like it it doesn't feel like there's some sort of like massive, like they obviously liked John Weeks and he was there for a long time, but it didn't feel like there's some massive concern that they don't have John Weeks. And Frank Ross made it pretty clear that Brinkman, who's the Weeks replacement, he knows that, well, you have to be perfect from the long snapper spot. You can't ever mess up. So he says he's ready. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, there's only we'll see on game day. We never saw a bad snap from John Weeks. So.
First time he throws it over Townsend's head in a game, and you see Kaimi or Townsend scrambling down the field to try to corral that thing. We're going to be like, oh, geez, here we go. They F this up.
All right, so I was getting mental reps. I can see that you were getting good reps too, because that was very impressive by you. To get the kick protection layout. I wouldn't expect anything different from you. I did take note of Zach Thomas on the far left side. He does feel like kind of the swing tackle-ish, like the back. Not. I guess you could technically say it's going to be Ursery or Fisher, but it does feel like he's like tackle 4, right? Like that's
agreed. Yes, he'd be tackle 4 if they keep 4.
Yeah, and I think they would. I don't know, but. I'm impressed that you kept that note. I kind of try to get my mental reps up too, but keep my head on a swivel and keep my brain going. Even though you can't take days off when it comes to covering this team, especially here on SNL. So I had the Headgear stats, and the Headgear stats, because they weren't wearing helmets. These are the numbers that you come here for. So there were 3 guys in bucket hats. There were 7 guys with backwards hats. There were 9 guys with forward hats. 2 of those guys rotated forward to back throughout practice. There were 2 guys that wore the hood, like the hoodie over their head. There were 3 guys in beanies, and there was 1 guy rocking a visor. There was 1 guy rocking the visor.
Oh, who is the visor guy?
Out there. There's 1 guy.
Go wait, let me guess. Offense or defense?
Offense.
Well, you're reaching over for a sound key. So was it Christian Kirk? Was he his visor guy?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was not Christian Kirk.
I thought it was somebody who had a sound effect.
It was not Christian Kirk.
Yeah, I don't know. Offense visor.
First year player for the Texans.
First year player for the Texans. Visor guy. Was it Woody Marks?
Nope.
Luke Lachey?
Nope.
I'm running. Is it Jalen Knoll?
No.
I'm running out of guys here.
Well, it makes sense that he's the only guy rocking the visor because he's the only guy that plays his position too.
First year player
For the Texans, yes. Not a rookie.
Oh, is it Jakob?
Jakob
Johnson
out there in the visor. That big mofo out there in the visor.
Must be a German thing.
Maybe so.
I was telling Sean Pendergast that his name is Jakob, and Sean thought I was pulling a practical joke on him. He's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, his name's Jakob. It's not Jacob." He's like, "I'm not saying that on the radio." I was like, "Look, it's on Pro Football Reference. Look, his name's Jakob. I'm not trying to pull a fast one on you." Pendergast didn't believe me.
Now, CJ was rocking the beanie.
Mm-hmm.
Him, Stingley, and Russ Yeast were rocking the beanies. So 2 of your ballers and then Russ Yeast rocking the beanies out there in the 95-degree heat. That's very California of CJ, by the way.
As you kind of look at the distribution of headgear, is there any theme associated with like what player wears what? Like,
so the hood, well, there is kind of with the guys that were wearing hoods. I'll let you decide the theme, though.
The guys that were wearing...
There were 2 guys wearing hoods on their head. Well,
I know Juice Scruggs was one of them.
Yeah, there was 1 more. I'll let the chat and I'll let you decide the theme of this. I'm not going to do this. I'm trying to keep a Good Friday vibe going on right now.
I can't remember who... Was Patterson the other guy?
No. Patterson was wearing a hat.
Okay.
Patterson was wearing a backwards hat.
Ooh. So Scruggs had
This is what happens on a light day, fellas. We're not going to sit here and act like they did anything.
Scruggs. It was another offensive lineman.
Yes.
Was it Ed Ingram?
No. Blake Fisher. Blake Fisher and Drew Scruggs. What's the theme of the
disappointing ass second round picks? Yeah, guys drafted in the second round that maybe shouldn't have been drafted in the second round that haven't been good yet.
By D'Amico and Caserio, offensive lineman.
Yeah. Offensive linemen overdrafted by the Texans that haven't been good yet.
That's enough of the Headgear stats. So outside of that, I might go more in depth on that tonight. Maybe when I'm on that lettuce or something like that. So we did talk to some coaches, and I was actually a little bit excited for this. I thought this was like the main attraction. We got to talk to the man, the myth, the legend, Nick Caley. And he spoke for about 7 minutes. Don't know if you're going to get a ton from Nick Caley. I do look forward to like some substantive, like some conversations with substance. But I did ask him about this New England offense and how important it is not to get like too married to a system. Because we've had 3 players, not 1, not 2, but 3. Mechie, Andrews, and Titus Howard say this is basically the O'Brien/New England offense. Ask Nick Caley about it. Here's what he had to say.
We're all a byproduct of our experiences, right? So this is not a New England system, and it's our system, and it's going to evolve, and that's personnel driven, but it's finding out what we can do. But also, I think from starting with the players and things that they've had success with, things that they've done well here, they've done a lot of things well here. We have a great coaching staff that all have different experiences. I'm really blessed to be around those guys, and we're just trying to formulate what's best for us as we get going here.
It's not the New England system, Landry. Damn it. It's the Houston Texans system.
Okay, well.
They've done people. So the thing is like they've done like the players saying, oh, well, it's this.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm sure there's like a lot of bases that are the same that here in the early parts you're like using as like a learning reference tool. Like I'm sure that's the case, but like you don't want it, like ultimately you don't want it to be the same. Like you want it to have
no, and I mean there's just kind of some PTSD. It's not the worst thing for that to be the case. But it's really just about how he adjusts and how he figures it out.
You just use it as a familiarity tool. Hey, you guys remember this? Hey, help the other guys learn this if they've never had this before.
Now, a lot of times whenever we're talking about football practice, like pads get a little bit more attention. And especially when we're talking about assessing the offensive lineman, I think Cole Popovich was pretty adamant that we don't know much, right? I mean, he wasn't being a hardo, but it was you could read between the lines. He knows the value of pads as compared to non-padded practices. But Nick Caley was asked about that, and this is what Nick had to say about what you can gather in pre-padded activity.
There's a lot of things you do. There's discipline. There's mental toughness in terms of being precise with motions, being precise and breaking the huddle with a clean operation, whether it's cadence, changing up cadences, whether it's putting guys in different spots that, mixing some different formations that they may have to, run the same concept for multiple formations. So it taxes you mentally too, not just physically.
That's really what he's talking about there is more for like if Christian Kirk or Nico Collins is having a little bit of trouble picking up a system here or there, that doesn't matter as much because they're going to be on the team. But like that's important for the rookies. How well are they picking things up? What do I need to adjust, change to make sure they're fixing things? And then everybody that's not guaranteed to be on the 2 deep, like you've got to be as close to perfect as you can get between the ears, because then the physicality adds in and you got to be really good at that too. Like, so, from the Hutchinsons, the Mechies, the Watsons, the Daniel Jacksons, the Johnny Johnsons, Xavier, like you got to be pristine from timing, motions, and he talked about precision too. Like you got to do exactly how they want it, when they want it. It'd be really good to kind of help build your resume to make this team, make this practice squad.
I also think it's a little bit harder when pads come on. Like we see a lot more procedure penalties and all that when the pads come on. So I think it's a little bit easier to break in and out of the huddle and all that type of stuff at that time. So I would
after an hour and a half outside, Will Anderson's been beating your ass for 2 team periods and it's team period 3 and you got to try to figure out how to block him. Yeah, it's a little bit tougher to hear what CJ had to say, remember everything, and then go out there and make sure you go when Patterson snaps the ball.
David N says, listening to Caley speak is a breath of fresh air. I actually liked Bobby at the podium early on, like before he got kind of in over his head and started saying some of the goofy stuff that he said last year. I mean, much like his success, the early success, I actually didn't mind hearing Bobby Slowick early on. I don't want to like rewrite history and act like I never enjoyed hearing Bobby at the podium because I kind of did. I know we're in like the damn it Bobby era where hell, even D'Amico seems like he kind of wants to take some shots at him.
Damn it, Bobby.
But I actually enjoyed Bobby Slowick's early press conferences, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, he had some really good podium moments, and then he had some really bad ones at the end when he knew he was getting fired.
Terrible ones. Some really terrible ones. Next thing from Nick Caley, and we're going to hear from this guy in a second. Cole Popovich, Nick Caley, they know each other. Here's what Nick Caley had to say about Cole Popovich.
I think he's a phenomenal coach. He's really smart. He's an extremely hard worker. He really cares about the guys. He is a mentally and physically tough dude. I mean, look at him. He looks like he could squat a house for sure. But he got a lot of experience with him. Been through a lot of, games with him in the past dating back to New England. And he's always growing. I mean, he's really always searching to be the best that he can be. He's got a growth mindset. And I'm really thankful that we get to work together again.
Growth mindset feels like corporate jargon BS, but obviously
squat a house. He is a intimidating son of a bitch, man.
Today was the first day.
I've never seen him up close, honestly. Like
Yeah.
I've never but dude, he's not like, he's pretty approachable, I would say. But I would not want to piss that guy off.
So he was talking about this before we started asking him questions about the team. He still holds a squat record from where he went to college.
Yeah, 680.
What a freak. 680.
Fresno State.
Yeah, Fresno. He went to Fresno State, and he still is on the squat record leaderboard. Now, mind you, he went to Fresno State 15 years ago. So they've had thousands and thousands of guys come through there, and he's still on the leaderboard for squat at Fresno State.
Yeah, he's a badass. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of bad, stay away from that cord, ma'am.
You got the baby trying to turn the gear into playtime.
Yeah. Chance Harris on the soup.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
It says, Rizmaster Cody, how's the tight end room looking? I want Lachey to be a dog.
Nothing really to report from the tight ends. The first day they had a couple of catches. Schultz had a catch and Brevin Jordan had a catch. And Lachey had one that was a tough play that hit him in the hands on the sideline yesterday that he didn't corral. And Irv Smith looks better than he did last year. Like he looks like he's trimmed up a little bit. So I think that's a positive for him. And then I kind of consider Jakob Johnson with the tight ends because
yeah, they're lining him up there.
That's who he practices with, and then but he's going to line up there a couple of times too for some blocking usefulness and maybe some sneaky pass catching stuff. So nothing huge from the tight ends yet. That's another position group where it's like, okay, the pads are on, they help with blocking, then go out there and thump some linebackers and DBs and stuff like that. So excited to see them when they get out there and get in the pads.
No doubt. Also on the soup, JB the Annihilator. He says he's hearing whenever Fisher is at right tackle, it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. Happy Fantastic Four weekend. I'll let you take this. I'm going to get her in the crib. I'll be back in 20 seconds.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so Blake Fisher's had a couple of rough moments, certainly. And, if Will Anderson's giving you the work at practice, okay, he's going to give everybody work at practice. And he's going to give some of the best tackles in football a tough job. So I don't want to overrate that, but when a Casey Toohill and Junior Tafuna stunt has you kind of falling down, when Solomon Bird's getting you, that's not good from Blake Fisher. Now, maybe this all changes when the pads come on. Maybe this is just a totally different situation when the pads come on for Fisher. I hope that's the case, but they've got an option to replace him if it doesn't work in Ariante Ursary. And so sooner rather than later, I would think Blake Fisher needs to show something. And the way Cole Popovich talked today very much matters so much more from a padded standpoint. And so you don't want to overrate what we've seen through those couple of days, out there at training camp so far. So, and then from Fantastic Four, the reviews have been fantastic. So I can't believe I said that. I didn't mean it that way, but the reviews look pretty good. I might sneak away for a little midnight showing or maybe a Sunday afternoon one, but I haven't even seen Superman yet. I got to see Superman still too. So appreciate you, JB Allen, for the super chat. And then Wags has a super chat. What offensive player do you think will thrive the most in the system? What lineman will be better? There's a really good chance that Titus is the best version of himself in this system, just because of he's physically in the best shape. So I would say Titus. Christian Kirk's going to have every opportunity to be the slot guy and be really good and have a lot of impact from the slot. So he's going to have every opportunity to do that, which will be nice to see because the Texans have very rarely had consistent slot production in their history. So Kirk certainly is a guy that could benefit. Joe Mixon, if he gets out there and the O-line can block, he should have another 1,200-yard, close to 10 touchdown season like he's had for the past 4 seasons. So he's going to benefit. I wouldn't say he's going to benefit as much as like he's going to be able to recreate what he typically does. So that's how I would say it. I think Titus is probably the O-lineman that I am excited to see in this system. And I suppose one of these centers is going to flourish and be the guy too. So it would not surprise me if we found out that Patterson is a little bit better in this system or Andrews is a little bit better. Andrews has barely played in the NFL, so we have no idea actually what he is. He's hurt all last year. So appreciate the super chat, Wags. He has one more, and he says, any thoughts on a surprise cut so far? I mean, some of these pup guys are behind. Danico Autry.
I'm taking Brevin Jordan off the list for the moment.
Okay. I mean, would it surprise people if Nick Chubb got cut? Yes, I think it would surprise people.
Would it? Maybe.
A lot of people seem to be higher on Nick Chubb than you and I have been on Nick Chubb. So it maybe wouldn't surprise us as much. I do think the name getting cut would surprise some people. It hadn't looked good yet.
Yeah, it doesn't look great, but we'll see with pads is going to be when we really keep a close eye on that. Let's hear from the man though, the previously mentioned squat record holder
at Fresno State.
Cole Popovich, very popular guy today, by the way. I got the first question and I just basically asked him. And some people tried to make a little bit more of this. I didn't take it this way. Like if I think of shots fired, like I thought I think there's been shots fired at Bobby Slowick indirectly. Like I feel like praise of Nick Caley has been kind of what Bobby Slowick didn't do well. But I didn't take it this way with Cole Popovich, but I'll let you people, and I do mean you people, decide. I asked Cole Popovich, what's the difference between being an assistant offensive line coach and a head offensive line coach in regards to getting the guys to do what you may want them to do?
Well, I think kind of the whole thing's different because you, like, as an assistant, you're not trying to get the guys to do what you want them to do. You're trying to get what the head guy wants them to do. And now there's collaboration that happens there. But, like, to me, I've been an assistant plenty, and, like, your job is to assist the head guy, right? So it's just completely different, like, having the room for yourself because you're the final say. It's all your techniques. It's what you want to do. And so it's just completely different.
So he basically explained that I was a good soldier last year and I did what my job description was, and I was not going to be the guy that backstabbed the guy that had the title ahead of me.
I think he just described what happened. Like, I don't think that was like, that's just the reality of the situation. Like we weren't doing what I would have done last year, but that's just honesty. That's him telling what happened and what the role is of an assistant. And it's kind of interesting because I think it was between talking to him and then talking to Rod Wright where like it's not like an assistant coach, like an assistant D-line coach or an assistant O-line coach is like a personal assistant or something like in like the corporate world. But for the most part, they are serving the head guy, like it pause, but you know what I mean? Like they're doing whatever he wants them to do. Like they're not getting him coffee or something like that, but like they set it out and then
coach
you
this technique, run this drill.
Right. It's not like I think there's times where like the defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator, they're kind of on their own island. They do what they got to do. And then they have assistants, but it is almost like a corporate structure where the vision of Rod Wright is the D-line vision. And the vision of Cole Popovich is now whoever's below him. And last year it was Chris Strausser and he was below him. So yeah, I do find that a little bit interesting with Cole Popovich and the way that he said that.
Yeah. I mean, it was a nice catch-all to the criticism of, well, why does he get to stick around when he was a part of the problem? And he basically explained, well, yes and no, I was a part of the problem. I coached what I was told to coach because that's the job, and now I get to coach it my way. And so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a shot at all. Wags, again, does Caley's system mix protection / plays better? I don't know yet.
I don't know yet either. I would hope so. I'd hope so because Bobby's did a shitty job.
Troy on the soup.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
He said, been sweating the Texans for 20 years now. I think most people in here have. Thanks for helping get through the good, bad. Are y'all tuned into how initial training camp returns from AFC South are looking? Any intel to share or too early? I think in Indianapolis, it's Daniel Jones's job to lose. I'm not like breaking any news there. That's really what I've heard. I really haven't been that locked in on the Jags, what they got going on. And I haven't been locked in on the Titans either, to be honest. I think I've slept like 10 hours the last 2 days. Like it's really weird. Like I can function on like 5 hours sleep, like staying up and then just getting up and getting stuff around. But I haven't really paid much attention to what's going on at other camps quite yet.
Yeah, not yet, just because it's still early for them too. I mean, I think it's the Lions and the Chargers got the early start. But I did see that Travis Hunter spent the first couple days on offense before he finally got a defensive day.
Which is smart.
The Jaguars.
Which is smart.
Which you and I both agreed he should primarily be a wide receiver, not play much cornerback. So
yeah, that would be.
We agree with that game plan over there. And the first day of Colts camp, I know Daniel Jones threw an interception, and Anthony Richardson had an interception dropped when he threw it right to the defender. So same old same for the Colts. Good roster, and that quarterback situation still stinks. So,
all right. So Cole Popovich was also asked, because we've heard this a few times, we're going to put our best 5 out there. He was asked about that. And here's what he had to say about potentially getting the best 5 out there. on top of getting guys looks at different positions.
At some point, you're definitely going to have to do that. There's no doubt about that. This early in camp, that's really never been like the mode, because you really just don't know what these guys can do, especially right now. We're in a little bit of a unique situation where there's so many new faces in that room, and so just trying to get everybody reps so they can show what they can do, trying to move some guys around, like who works together well, who communicates together well. I mean, that's all part of it, but you're absolutely right. At some point, like, we will have, like, here's our 5, here's kind of the next guys in the game, and we'll have plenty of time to get that.
Yeah, plenty of time. I just
17 practices and 3 preseason games, but
yeah,
I wouldn't call that plenty of time, but, there's time.
Sometimes there's just not a good 5. What about the identity? This is indirectly kind of the identity question. What do you want this offensive line to be? Here's what Cole Popovich had to say about that.
We really just want to have a tougher line that plays the game in a way that, like, the whole team can kind of see there's a toughness established from our group there, right? We're not shying away from any kind of contact. And then, really the other thing would be just a smart group. Like, I don't want missed assignments. So that's like the biggest thing is we're trying to play clean football, trying to eliminate bad football, play very tough, be assignment sound, and I think we'll be okay if we do those things.
He talked about the drills and workouts that they do, and he said it's all very simple. It's all very basic. We do the same thing over and over and over again until we do it really well. And he's like, we're not trying to reinvent anything, and we think if we get all that down, it's going to be a good situation for us. And that to me kind of was like, hey, some of these guys, we gave them trigonometry before they understood algebra. So let's make sure they figure out the algebra here. And then we can figure out what everybody can do after everybody has a good solid base layer put together.
Yeah. He's making it sound simple. I don't know how simple it is or isn't, but he's trying really hard to make it simple. And he might be kind of no-selling some stuff, including something that we've talked about, which I think he might have been. I think this might be his first bit as a coach.
Yeah. So Jake Andrews has played center 1 year of his football career since he got to college. It was when Cole Popovich was the offensive line coach at Troy in Andrews' final year at Troy. And then he went to New England. He played guard for the Patriots. He was hurt last year, and now he's on the Texans. And wouldn't you know it, Jake Andrews is playing center. So I asked Cole Popovich, I go, hey, you got a history with Jake Andrews, what does he bring to the table? What's that history like between you two guys? And then he no-sold me.
He's only with Jake for 1 year. So, like, there's a relationship there, but I've also been, like, here for 2 years with JP and Juice, and I think all those guys have been working really, really hard. I think they're all really intelligent guys, can get us to the right spots, and just happy to work with all 3 of those guys.
Now, mind you,
Andrews didn't undersell it when he got interviewed, though.
that he talked about it like, this is my guy or something.
Yeah, he's a good coach. I've known him for a little bit. I'm a big fan. So maybe he's just trying not to like tip his hand that there's a favorite or something like that, which I can kind of understand.
Like it's not like Cole Popovich was like on his way up as a coach when he coached Jake Andrews. No, Cole Popovich had previously been the offensive line coach for the New England Patriots, and he was at Troy. Like, it was a big deal that he was the O-line coach for a year at Troy, and then he's back right in the NFL. And it's like, he's just like, I only knew him for a year. It's like, the only year he played center? Come on, Cole.
Yeah,
you're not fooling me, squat master. Wizard of O-line.
Is mixing up causing the O-line's issues initially, Wax? Nah. I think D'Amico's defense is, if there's any issues, I think it's D'Amico's defense.
Blake Fisher being bad's caused the issues.
Speaking of which, one of the stars of camp on the other side of the rock.
What happened to that boy?
The Birdman, Solomon Byrd. Talked to Rod Wright about the Birdman. Here's what he had to say.
To the league when you were already in the building, and D'Amico spoke on his development. What have you seen from him? And is there, like, I don't want to say more satisfaction, but is there, like, as a coach, is it kind of special to see someone kind of take those steps?
Well, with Solomon, I remember watching his film before we got him, and he was.
By the way, for just a sec, like Rod Wright's been on my radar for like now over 20 years. This guy likes to talk. He likes to talk. Rod Wright does. He's going to be a DC, but he will give you a long ass answer.
Guy that got a lot of sacks his senior year at USC, and you can tell that he had the ability to rush the passer. And a lot of times, like, I can build a pass rusher, that's my job. But like guys that kind of have a knack, a lot of times they just got to find themselves and what works for them on this level. And so that's what he's done. He's really found out what works for him. And the biggest difference here is obviously the speed of the game, but the tackles are more athletic. They got longer arms, and their recovery when they get beat is a lot better on this level. So like he had to get his timing down, and he's got it, and he's learned the scheme. And to be honest, like he's being that person that we saw in college. A lot of times the rookies, they got it. They just got to they got to learn the scheme. They got to get the speed down, and they really just got to get that confidence. And he's playing with confidence, and I just can't wait to see him put the pads on and play this preseason. I have high expectations for him going into this.
Okay. All right. The Birdman, man.
What happened to that boy?
Getting a lot of love, man. Getting a lot of love, the Birdman.
I think we would have gotten a dissertation on almost any player that we would have asked about, but it's nice that we've gotten the head coach. Now we got the defensive line coach. Like, there's something there with Solomon Byrd. Let's see if it translates to putting the pads on, and he can carry that over, because that's
he's
what
on
matters
kickoff.
most.
I mean, he's doing other things too, so he's not just dependent on it, which is always a good thing to see.
Yeah.
You mentioned the surprise cut. So Barnett and Taylor and
Taylor.
No, I'm just saying, like, are all these guys safe? Are all these vets safe with Solomon Byrd? Like, is it? Texans cap would have like the salary ramifications. I think you do save some money getting rid of Autry, but like, are all these guys safe?
Somebody could lose their job to Solomon Byrd. Absolutely. I would tell you Autry's the most likely character. And behind him, I would say Darrell Taylor.
Yeah, we haven't really seen. I mean, like, it's Barnett. Barnett just does. They just trust him, and he's just going to go there and do his thing. So I don't see any scenario where Barnett would be there. But we do
experience in the system.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a 1-year deal, so I mean, it's like, right? Was it 1 or 2?
They brought him back for 1.
Yeah, they brought him back for 1.
Edwards got the 2-year deal.
Yeah, I would love to see that too, but yeah, Bird's a no-brainer. He's on no matter what. Does it impact those other guys is really the question. And then we start looking at the D-line. Some of these guys trying to get back, like there could be a number. I don't know what percentage of the guys on the PUP are guaranteed their jobs at this point, to be honest with you. So it's not, there's not like any, Mixon's not on PUP. Mixon's on the non-football injury list, but like between Pierce, Heinisch, Autry, Barnett, like, I don't think these guys are necessarily guaranteed like their spots.
I mean,
Barnett,
the defensive line situation, I would tell you, outside of like your mainstays, which I would tell you your 4 unquestioned that putting them on the roster, like, it makes total sense that they're locks, is obviously Hunter and Anderson. And then Mario Edwards got a 2-year deal, so I'd say he's a lock. And then the way they talk about Sheldon Rankins, he must be the wisest defensive lineman in the history of defensive linemen. And then actually, Rod Wright talked about this today when we were standing there talking to him. Sheldon Rankins has played with like everybody at some point. Like, he previously played with Mario Edwards in New Orleans. He previously played with somebody else in New York, Thadakasi in New York. He previously played, obviously, with the guys that were on the team 2 years ago. And so it's like, there's a.
No, they talk about him like he's like the Dalai Lama.
Those 4 guys are on. And then it's 4 or 5 other defensive line spots.
Bird's on.
I can't call it to say Bird's on now.
No, he's on, man. Like it's not. I don't think there's a question. He's on. I mean, unless they have like some sort of significant upgrade, he's on. None of those guys play special teams. Like this isn't like safety where all the safeties play special teams. Like all those guys you just mentioned, none of them play special teams. He's covering kicks. Like he's on.
Yeah,
like
you could find somebody else to go do his job.
Okay. But I mean, he's the only one of any of these D linemen that's really covering kicks. Him and Horton. But I don't know that Horton's like a 100%er. But I think Bird's on. Maybe I just got the Bird fever.
Yeah, you got.
What happened to that boy?
Oh.
He's got a sound clip, so he's on.
No, he's looked good, man.
Let's see when the pads come on. See if he can keep doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's on. I want to see what Danico Autry looks like when he gets out there. I don't want him to have the 14-year-old golden retriever look. I gotta see him move around a little bit. He just turned 35.
Danico Autry's off for me right now. So
yeah. So I mean, you know what they think of him, and he was pretty good last year when he was in. It just wasn't a lot, and I know it wasn't all injury, but let me put it this way: I don't think that suspension was the worst thing for his body last year. I don't know that suspension doesn't like become like a de facto suspension with like missed games in between all those games that he missed. He was not he wasn't quite moving very, very gingerly. I think it might have kept him a little bit fresh.
Well, that's wild. Once he got there, he was hurt. Like he was, once the suspension was over, he was still banged up. So it's like, what are we doing here?
All right, so it is draft season here on SNL, and we're not talking about the NFL draft. We're way past that.
Before we do that, I want to make a little announcement here. One of our viewers, he can't go to training camp tomorrow. So before we finish up here, we'll give away 2 tickets to training camp tomorrow.
Whoa.
So 2 tickets to training camp tomorrow before we finish up the show here. So we'll get you how you can win those and stuff like that here in just a second.
All right. So we got a pair of tickets to training camp tomorrow, the first open practice. Going to be ramped up, especially after what they did today. But this is going to be the SNL fight draft. We've seen some good training camp fights over the years. Now, Dalton Schultz has been involved in the last 2 years, so he might be very highly touted in this draft. But we're each going to pick 3 guys, and we're going to see who wins when it comes to potential fights in camp. So you can have the first pick, Cody. Go ahead. Who are you picking first?
I'm picking CJ Gardner-Johnson, obviously. As our good buddy Brooks Cabina, who used to cover the Texans, now covers the Eagles for The Athletic, as he told me the moment the Texans got CJ Gardner-Johnson, well, he's got a screw loose, but like in a good way. And I was like, all right, well, that works for me. He talks trash. He's going to piss somebody off, and he's got to kind of show everybody what he's about here. You know, he said it. I'm not for everybody. Okay, well, that may include talking trash and being a little bit extra at practice.
All right, I'm going to take Jake Hansen. He practices hard. He kind of plays through the whistle, and I think he doesn't like garner the respect to where he can necessarily get away with it like someone on the top end of the depth chart. So I'm going to go ahead and say Hansen, and this might surprise some people, but I feel pretty good about this. I'm going to say Hansen gets involved in a fight. Your next pick.
Okay. I'm going – so this one's tough because I can't figure out who he's going to fight with. I just feel like he might try to set the tone, and I feel like that's why they brought him here, is to set the tone. Go with Laken Tomlinson, the aging veteran who's just – he's played nonstop for like 9 years now. And 3 different fan bases will swear he's not any good, but he just never gets sent to the bench. So I'm going Laken Tomlinson to join CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Okay. Laken Tomlinson. Not a bad choice. I'm going with the new offensive lineman as well. Guy who's got a wrestling background. Guy who's a little bit nasty. I'm going to go with Mr. Andrews. So I have Hansen and I have Andrews as my guys. Guys that kind of like to mix it up, play through the whistle. I'll go with Andrews.
All right, so this one, I like my last pick here. I like this one a lot, and I'm going to explain a little bit more why I'm picking him. I wouldn't have picked him a year ago, but I'm picking him now. Cade Stover. I think a year ago he was just locked in, got to be got to be a good guy, got to be rookie, got to know how to do everything. I think now, year under his belt, they're saying everything's looking better with him. Some linebacker crosses him, get out of here, just bam.
So Cade Stover.
Cade Stover.
All right, my final one. I'm gonna go with Christian Harris. I'm gonna go with Christian Harris to mix it up on the field. I think he's going to be anxious. I think he's going to be extra. I think it's going to happen. I think his return will be next week. I'm going to go with Christian Harris as my final guy. So I got Harris, Hansen, Andrews.
So that's a good one because someone did reveal to us today that apparently Christian Harris and Dalton Schultz do not football like each other.
Yeah, they are competitive on the football field.
Yeah. So as far as the football field goes, there's a little animosity there. So that's a good one. I like Harris is probably my favorite pick of yours. Andrews is a good one too, because I could definitely see him
finishing a block.
Yes. He shoves Junior Tafuna after a play, and Tafuna turns around and wants to go, and Andrews just clocks him. Like, yeah, I could definitely see
I'd
that.
want to fight either one of those guys.
That's
a main eventer right there.
I'm not.
I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to fight either one of those guys. I'm talking about from like an offensive line on the offensive line scale.
I'm not fighting I'm not fighting Andrews if I'm Tafuna, and I'm not fighting Tafuna if I'm Andrews.
Yeah, that's not fun.
It seems like two tough SOBs that just be ready to go.
Are the Texans taking a look at Christian Wilkins? They shouldn't.
No,
as we talked about earlier. So
he's not going to play.
Yeah. So no, and some of these fights may happen in Detroit. That's the other part of this. They don't have to necessarily fight their own teammates. They could happen in Detroit. Now that's where CJ Gardner-Johnson is like not even money.
Oh yeah, especially because he was in Detroit previously.
Yeah, that's a very CJ Gardner-Johnson versus St. Brown or something like that. Maybe little Jameson Williams action. By the way, did you see what Jameson Williams does on the same
Jameson Williams, the wide receiver for the Lions?
Yeah.
What does he do?
Puts Oreo McFlurry in his McDouble.
Look, I'm a fat man. I love to eat. I'll try some goofy stuff. I try stuff that I see on the internet all the time. That sounds disgusting.
Not great.
That sounds disgusting.
Not great. Things to watch tomorrow.
I'm going to be back on this offensive line, this tackle situation. If they're going to speed it up a little bit, there's going to be a little bit more. I do want to see if this offense can do more than just the quick release stuff. And typically, offensive staffs love to dial it up a little bit on that first kind of full speed day. So I would be looking for that Nico Collins bomb down the sideline. So if I'm Derek Stingley, I'm ready for that in that matchup. So definitely looking for that. And then I want to see more out of these tight ends a little bit more too. So,
I want some effing one-on-ones, man.
Yeah.
I want some effing one-on-ones. I haven't gotten any one-on-ones. So I need some one-on-ones. I know the pads are on Monday, but give me some one-on-ones. I need some receiver DB one-on-ones. I want to see these guys challenged.
I'd like to see Jalen Smith, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Smith, Jalen Knoll, and how about some Arnett and the rookies too? I'd like that. And then
Arnett, that's work.
And then of course, I mean, Nico and Sting, Nico and Lassiter and Kirk. Lassiter and Kirk might be a really fun one. Actually, I really want to see that.
I want to see Lassiter and Knoll.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, Knoll. Strong, fast. It's right there in the slot. That's what I want. All right, so we're giving away some tickets to tomorrow. Speaking of which.
So I got the way we're gonna do it here. And And I'll write it as the same time I say it, but we're going to do an SNL related trivia question. Okay. On the Fudge Bars box, Landry said I looked like the Fudge Bars coach. On the Fudge Bars box, what does the guy's hat say? On the Fudge Bars box, what does the guy's hat say? Landry said for a few days I looked like the Fudge Bars guy on the front of the Bluebell Fudge Bars because I shaved my mustache. What does his hat say? All right, so Jose's first. Jose was quick. Man, everybody got it. It says coach.
And we feel bad that not everyone can win.
I know. I wish we had more.
We got these last second, so it was always
we had
good.
more. But Jose got it. Jose Garcia, send me an email. I'll put my email in here.
Make sure he can go first.
Yeah, you have to be able to go. I made that very clear in the chat. So Jose, hopefully
you can go tomorrow. It's gonna be at 9 a.m. So if you're like not really an early riser on a Saturday, don't waste them because someone will definitely go.
Yeah. So yeah, it says coach. And I was at the grocery store yesterday and I picked up the box and looked at it, and yeah, it was kind of like looking in a mirror.
I was just at the grocery store, man. So
did you pick up any Fudge Bars?
No.
I wanted to get some.
I don't like the Fudge Bars, bro. I like the drumsticks. Like if you're gonna get like an ice cream novelty item, you got to go with the drumstick. Like the Fudge Bar, no, thank you. The Bomb Pop, I can kind of understand, but I mean, it kind of like once you get down to the white of the Bomb Pop, it's just kind of this sucks. But if you're gonna get like a novelty item, I think you got to go with the drumstick. There's not. I mean, what's even in the same category as the drumstick?
That's. I bought me a drumstick last night.
Yeah, drumsticks just go in. By the way, guess what was at my my neighborhood clubhouse the other day?
Was it an ice cream truck?
Yes, but it was a different type of ice cream truck.
Was it a soft serve ice cream truck?
Nah.
Oh.
Damn, you got excited there. Don't stand up. No.
What was it?
Dippin' Dots, dude.
A Dippin' Dots ice cream truck?
Yeah, there was like 12 flavors too. They had like a bomb pop flavor. They had all that. So my wife went up because we were going to the pool, and we were like, hey, she asked for like some ice cream, and they're like, well, we can't sell it, but you can rent it at your next party. And we're like, what? But they like gave her some, but they weren't being too corny about it. But yeah, it was a Dippin' Dots truck, dude.
That's sick.
Yeah, pretty sick. They took off the ice cream of the future term because that was when they were the ice cream of the future for damn near 30 years. They got rid of that.
Yeah, so Jose said he could for sure go, so he's going to send me an email, and then
shout out to Jose.
We'll get then. Shout out to everybody for watching. Again, I wish we could send all of you.
We really do. Yeah, we don't get tickets. So someone just couldn't go, and
yeah, that was very generous of Wendell to pass those along. So thank you, Wendell, and thank you, Jose, for watching. Jose, send me an email so that I can get you those for tomorrow.
Patrick is like a Jeopardy guy, dude. Like this guy's like Gloria from freaking White Men Can't Jump, which I might be dating a lot of our audience. But he says, fun fact, the Dippin' Dots, and I never know if he's serious, so I might read this and it's just a joke, and it's the joke's on me. It says the Dippin' Dots company makes a good portion of its revenue licensing the Crypto Tech to plant-based meat alternatives. Is he being serious or not?
It sounds like they could do something like that. Like they found a way to make food easily transportable with their version of.
Like Patrick's like gonna Ron Burgundy me every time I like.
Dippin' Dots cryogenics. They are stored and transported at -40 degrees Fahrenheit, which is colder than most frozen foods.
Oh, he got it. There you go, Pat.
To expand the side business after their 2021 or 2011 bankruptcy and sale, they created Dippin' Dots cryogenics, and they now license out the technology.
Okay. There we go.
How about that?
That is new every day.
That is something that could absolutely come up on Jeopardy one day.
Yeah, no doubt. You just got to keep your fingers crossed. Appreciate everyone for rolling through. It was a light day, but we got an hour out of it. Going to do the same on the locker room stream. We'll get into some other things, some stuff that Popovich said that we didn't touch on here, as well as Caley. Also going to elaborate on me not thinking that they can run the ball. I just, there was a little bit of pushback on it. I get it, but I don't get some of the rules. So I need people to explain these rules to me. Like, when is it not too early to assume that this team running the football might not be their strength? So we'll get into that at 10:30. Tomorrow, are we going to do a stream after practice tomorrow? I think we probably should.
If the people want it, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do a stream tomorrow after practice. We'll do a Saturday stream, maybe noonish, maybe 4-ish, maybe just the same time.
Maybe you just need to hit the little bell so you know when we're going live.
Yeah, subscribe, like, right along, all those things. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. Always remember, when it comes to this Texans stuff, we're all in it together.
Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.